Hello, everybody. Welcome back to today's episode of the podcast where we sit down with some of the sharpest minds in the management consulting industry. This episode is powered by Clubhouse AI. At Clubhouse AI, we help management consulting firms break free from outdated lead gen methods like networking events and referrals, which often feel more like wishful thinking than a real strategy. Our battle-tested, data-driven client acquisition system brings in your ideal clients with no chasing, no guesswork, just predictable compounding growth. If you're in management consulting and you're looking to scale your business and see real results in the first week, DM us the word growth for a free consultation. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Today we have a very special guest who is Ed Brzychcy, founder of Lead Front to Front. Thank you so much for being here today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little about what you do and your story?
Oh, hey, Ethan. Thank you so much for having me on today. So a little bit on my background is I've very non-traditionally entered this industry. When in what I consider my past life, I was military for a long time. And after serving for about 12 years, coming out, getting my education, my MBA, and then being at Babson, which is a very entrepreneurial school, I was looking at the consulting industry and I just decided to go on my own. Let's hang my shingle on the wall. Let's see how it goes. And I've leaned heavily into my past at first was train, led, and develop people for 12 years. How can I help companies do the same? And in the ensuing decades since then that I've been doing this, is it has grown and morphed much more into a strategic practice where I do a lot of organizational design work, where I work on cultural and strategic implementation. So really the long haul growth for and scalability for mostly mid-market size companies that have kind of outgrown themselves.
Awesome. It's amazing. I like that you turned your original and your past life, like you said, into your business and then reframed that and worked that into something different. That's amazing. It's a good story. And what is your role? How do you fit into the bigger picture at your company?
So it's my company. I'm chief cook, bottle washer, and everything else. So I've been a solo act for 10 years. I've got my assistant who helps out immeasurably with some of the day-to-day administrative and tasks on the back end. But for me, delivery, prospecting, business development, everything. So it's been, you know, I love it. So it doesn't feel like work.
Awesome. Okay. That's what I was going to ask you if that how that works for you. But yeah, so if you like doing that, so there's no reason to hire a big staff, right? If it's working well and you enjoy doing it, that's awesome. Now that we kind of have an idea of who you are, we'll go a little bit bigger picture here. How is AI impacting the way you guys do business?
As a solo act, AI is a wonderful tool. It's something I've worked with some client implementations on, and it's not something that gets bolted on. It's not just something you throw into the works and expect people to figure out. It's how do you practically implement it into your operations? How do you train and develop people around it? And it's been the same thing with my work. How do I work with this to help give me, as a force multiplier in order to be more efficient, find better ideas, do some more in-depth research. There's a number of uses, tools, and case studies for it. It's just a matter of, using it as the tool that it is and not seeing it as that initial, oh wow, gee whiz solution.
Right. I got you. And is that something you're helping your clients with as well, rather than just using yourself?
Oh, absolutely. It's something I mean, it's on everybody's lips now. It's on the front of everybody's mind. And it's like it for me with my clients, it's like any other tech implementation. It's we bring a new tool in there. How do we build it in the processes? How do we tie it into our workflows? How do we train the people on its use? How do we make sure that it's being used responsibly and securely? So for like any other tech implementation, it takes time. I see too many organizations, seeing it as just this panacea that's going to make things make life better. It only does that if you put in the grunt work on the back end.
Right. Of course, yeah. And let's say I was a client looking to hire Ed for my business, whatever that may be. What can I expect from you? What am I getting there?
So I focus on implementation. I'm all about the small steps that we need to take to get where we want to go. And I work on longer term contracts with my clients. I definitely much more strategic implementation and strategic generation. And so where do we want to go? Let's make sure that that's framed correctly, that we're skating to where the puck is on its way to, not where the puck is now, to put it sort of in Wayne Gretzky's words. And then from there, what are the steps we got to take to get there, and how do we actually do this responsibly, scalably, and integrated into our workflows? I don't like big change. Change scares people. Change is disruptive. And, I've been that consultant where you walk into an organization, oh my God, one of the Bobs is here. Give them 3 months, they'll be gone. We can go right back to the way things were before. And that's what I try to avoid with my clients is we're here to make slow, sustainable, scalable change. And so it's the rough, unglamorous, not sexy work that but that actually gets things done.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's the important stuff, right?
Yeah.
And with you and with your clients, but primarily you and your business, I would say, what's been working well for you and what's kind of been frustrating?
Like every entrepreneur is everything's a lesson. And you have your ups, you have your downs. As long as you learn from the downs and you come back stronger, then it's not a down. It's just a lesson. So keeping sort of that growth mindset, hustling through the grind, understanding that not every day is going to be a win, and kind of accepting your licks as part of the process has been you know building that foundational resilience is always some of the bigger challenges. Heard
Right.
somebody many years ago when I was first getting started, entrepreneurship is that journey that gets you excited to get out of bed in the morning, but at the same time leaves you lying awake in the middle of the night, unable to get to sleep. And I've had both. It's just like every other entrepreneur. And so it's certainly, we're the fools that work 80 hours for ourselves instead of 40 hours for somebody else. It's incredibly rewarding work, but it's hard work. It's not, all of a sudden people throw money at you because I've got this fantastic startup. It's I put in the hustle, the grind, the thought, the development, the time, the energy, the blood, sweat, and tears, honestly, in order to bring something of value into the marketplace.
Right. Right. And what's been successful for you in terms of the strategies you've taken with your clients and your business's growth? What's been successful for you there?
I'm very targeted. I know the clients I like to work with. I love the lean, hungry, high growth organizations that are tapping the end of that line. So post M&A, looking at organizations post entrepreneurship, and they're looking for that exit strategy or the next level of funding. And then from there, it's the people. I have a deep Rolodex of fellow consultants, and I'm not afraid to make referrals, and I'm not afraid to receive referrals. If a job's not a good fit, then it's not a good fit. I'm not going to work for 6 months with somebody where we're not going to get things done, where we just don't see the alignment before we even get started. So it's being very careful, being very choosy, being very proactive in outreach. I love speaking. I love engaging with people. That's sort of the extroverted nature comes out in the evening work where it's you just get out in the community, get out and meet people. I love HR organizations. I've been doing a road show now for almost 2 years to HR organizations across the country. And so you just get out there, you have fun with it, you meet interesting people. And I think that's been the biggest strength of mine is just the willingness to do that and network. And also the willingness to say no.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to take on a client or a task that's gonna affect you negatively or be something you really don't see yourself doing. Yeah, I get you saying you got to be
It's
able to say no to something that's
yeah,
not
you
going
got
to work out for you.
168 hours in the week. That's it. So how
Right.
you spend those is really it's critical. So being as wise with honestly wiser with your time than with your money is that's your most important asset because you can always earn more.
Mhm.
It's hard. You can't replace the hours lost.
Right. Yeah, I was once told, if you got a bunch of money, time's more valuable, and if you got a bunch of time, money's more valuable, and you're always looking to get more of the other if you got
Mhm.
less of one. Yeah. So taking all that in mind, what are your guys' goals for the next 6 to 12 months? What are you looking to do and get out of your business?
Yeah, no. So the next 12 months, 26 is shaping up to be a really exciting year for us. We've done a lot of outreach. I've done a lot of codifying my work, where traditionally for the last 3 or 4 years, it's been very bespoke client side and very customized for each client. now we're starting to take some of those best lessons and dig deeper into some more frameworks, do some more formalized publications. I got a book in the works that is being shopped out to publishers right now,
Awesome.
and as well as seeing, okay, we've got some lessons learned from all these areas. How do we actually implement these things at scale? And so operationalizing things into at least maybe a training program that people can implement for, the medium term, and scaling my practice from there. So I'm actually very, very excited for the next year and sort of
Awesome.
seeing some more formalization come out of something that's been so bespoke, because doing it long enough now, you see the commonalities and you can see the
Right.
trends, and okay, how do we actually help people from there? It's a whole new level.
Right. Right. And why now? Why not kick it down the road for a few more years? Why make these changes now?
Now's the time. It's I love doing what I do, and I mean, definitely going to keep up the core piece, but it's that next level. It's sort of in my own evolution, in my own growth as a consultant and as a professional. That's just where I see things going. It's really cool to see things get sort of formalized, operationalized, and hitting, the broader market and the broader community, where I've been very niche so far. I'm seeing a lot of new opportunities where, things resonate with people, and we talk about resonant growth, and we talk about how we really develop as leaders and what's the historical precedent for how people have grown. And it's not flashy, it's a lot of hard work, and being able to inspire people towards that end and give them ideas on how to, cultivate that growth mindset and cultivate these, things we like to talk about in high level organizational behavior conversations, but realistically grounded in something that people can use to improve their lives.
Right. Right. That's amazing. And you said you're looking to scale your business in this next initiative here. What does that look like for you? Are you looking just to sign on more clients? Are you looking to expand and maybe hire a bigger team? What's that look like?
Well, that's the cool part about operationalizing things is that gives me the opportunity to expand, to hire on a team, to hire on people to deliver materials, and me take more of that strategic role for the organization. I mean, it's good entrepreneurship. You work on the business, not in the business. And
Right.
seeing the way we've been able to grow over the last couple of years has been really exciting. And the next level is to continue to work on the business and to scale accordingly.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely an important thing there to be the CEO and not the CEO and the CFO and the marketing director and the head of sales and
Yeah,
all of that. Yeah,
I do everything now. I love doing everything, but at the same time, is if I want to continue to grow, if I want to continue to have impact, and I want to scale the impact that I can have, it's
hmm
building the right team around me, and we're starting to put a lot of pieces in place around that as well for 26.
Yeah.
Make some key partnerships to help support the delivery of all these new materials.
Right. Right. And what would that mean for you to achieve all that? I mean, like personally.
When I take my vacation, it's being able to look back and go, did I really build that? That's always the best thing about working with clients is, when you're leaving or you check back in later, they're always surprised that, okay, wow, the small things, they see the compounding. And even back looking at my own story, 5 years ago, I didn't think I'd be where I'm at right now. If I go back to when I came out of the service back in 2012, it's like, and you told me I'd be doing what I'm doing today, I would have probably just laughed. No way I would have believed you. And so being able to sort of wake up and see that growth, that development, it's just a constant motivator. And know, for me, the people I impact, and hear those stories, and just get sort of that, you made a difference for me. That's just so incredibly motivating. And, it just hits you right
Right.
here. And so it makes getting up in the morning all the easier.
Right. Yeah, definitely that passion in the business is important and definitely having faith in what you do and enjoying what you do as well. It sounds like you do. So that's
Yeah.
I'm happy for you there.
Thank you.
We've covered most of the core of the conversation here, what we wanted to cover today. But before we go, I was curious, what's the biggest lesson you learned along your journey as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, as a consultant that's helped you become who you are today?
Oh, it's absolutely the myth of the solopreneur. There's no such thing. I would not be where I'm at without my assistant, my advisors, my coaches, my people around me. And so as an entrepreneur, as a coach, you're never independent. Is you might be the face of the business, you might be the front man, but the better you build that team behind you, the more support that you have throughout, the better you're going to be. And so ditch that myth where you're going it alone and really build that core team to help you get out. Be very selective, be very proactive though, at making sure you're getting the support when and where you need it.
What kind of role has that support played in you becoming an entrepreneur and you starting your business?
So that was one of my hardest lessons. Again, it's coming out. It's I'm going to be that entrepreneur. I'm excited. I can put my shingle on the wall. And yeah, at first, you only have so much capital. You only have so much that you can invest in things. So you got to do it a lot on your own. But as you scale, as you formalize, as you operationalize, bring in those people to help and assist you. First person I hire is a bookkeeper because that's just not my game. It's just I could do the finances, but for my own bring on that level of assistance just so I don't have to worry about doing that on Fridays. And then from there, it's just how do you build a team? Where do you build the assistance? And then not to forget who are your mentors? Who are your advisors? Who can you go to for advice? Because, we love to invent new ideas and new things, but how do we learn from the past is another critical part of that. And can we get some best practices from people who've got similar t-shirts? You can't beat that.
Right. And how have you been taking advantage of mentorship and how important is that for you?
Oh, incredibly. I've got core group of people I've leaned out to, was part of a number of entrepreneurial or roundtable organizations and whatnot, where we supported one another in the early days. And it's just having somebody to bounce an idea off of. It's finding, like I said, I got a deep Rolodex. So now it's turned into a lot of peers where, hey, let's look for some job ideas. Let's see where people are speaking. Let's see, what kind of circuits we can create. Let's refine some of our ideas and poke holes in sort of some of each other's thought leadership and help build it out to be a little more stronger and a little more comprehensive. Those are the invaluable mentorship conversations, and those are the behind the scenes, beer at the end of the day, and what are we actually building? What are we doing, and how can we do it better?
Right. Yeah. I think it's mentorship's amazing. It's important for anybody, even if you're not an entrepreneur, even in any kind of career that you're taking, you got
Oh,
to have mentors. You got to have somebody to
certainly. I
say,
mean, when we look at knowledge transfer in organizations, that's something I
yeah,
always, how do we bridge those gaps? How do we build up new employees faster? How do we build people honestly into the team and into the culture? You can't do that without good mentors.
right, right. You got to be able to have someone that's, to say, what am I doing wrong? How do I do this? How do I do that? How
It's,
did you do
how do
this?
I do this? How do I do that? I'm
Yeah.
doing this wrong. How do I do it better? And,
Yep.
it's not saving it for that quarterly performance eval or anything else. It's, in the moment, hey, I just got promoted to be a new supervisor. I've got to deliver this tough feedback to this one of my employees who's just we have some issues with. How do I do that? How do I frame this conversation? How do I make this effective rather than just lambasting them?
Right. Yeah, it's so important, especially as entrepreneurs, you're always making mistakes and you're learning from those mistakes, but you got to have someone to tell you how to fix those mistakes, and
Yeah,
that's where those mentors come in. Well,
they
that's
do.
amazing.
Yeah, they're great. They're great.
Well, listen, Ed, we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover today, and I think you shared some valuable things into your industry and what you do in the consulting side, and I think you provide some amazing things, and whoever your clients are, I'm sure they're lucky to have you, and I really appreciate you coming on today.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Ethan.
Of course.